Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of February 17th, 2024. Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour one.
I always like to kick things off with something new and interesting, and Samsung's Galaxy Watch just got FDA approval to detect, are you ready? Sleep apnea. Oh, by the way, sleep apnea affects about 25% of men and 1/10 of all women here in the United States. Anyway, look for that feature to be added to the watch this year, which means, next year, the Apple Watch will get it. Let me tell you, I am waiting for the ultimate smartwatch feature to be announced. What do you think that could be? What is the ultimate smartwatch feature? Are you ready? Well, think about this. Smartwatches should be able to delete your browsing history if they detect that your heart has stopped. Now, that would be something. And on that happy note, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And for those of you joining us for the first time, where the heck have you been? Oh my gosh, but we're so glad you're here. And for our regular viewers and listeners, we are just so delighted that you decided to join us again because after all, I'm Kim Komando and you have tapped into the best show, the biggest show, the most trusted show about all things digital. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations across the United States. And you can get us as a podcast, as a webcast, inside Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as well as inside the Komando community. Just head over to komando.com and hit that link that says Komando Community. And a huge hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. servicemen and women in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea get the Kim Komando Show. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. Now, I need two things, just two things from each and every one of you. Number one, tell one person about the Kim Komando Show podcast and the Kim Komando Show. And number two, tell me what you would like to hear more about. And you can do that quite simply by going to our website. That's komando.com. And there's a link that says email Kim. All right, just for you, my loyal friend, I check out at least 35, 40 different websites to make sure that we are both up to date on what the heck's going on in the tech world. And this first story is something that I read about in the Wall Street Journal. And I just had to tell you about it because it's been 6 years since the tragic shooting at Marjorie Stoneman High School in Parkland, Florida. That's when a gunman opened fire on the school's campus. So sad. Claimed the lives of 14 students and 3 staff. Now, one of those students who was lost, his name is Joaquin Oliver. Now, even though it's been 6 years since he died, his voice is still strong today. Here, listen to this clip.
Hello, I'm Joaquin Oliver. 6 years ago, I was a senior at Parkland. Many students and teachers were murdered on Valentine's Day that year by a person using an AR-15. My body was destroyed by a weapon of war. I'm back today because my parents used AI to recreate my voice to call you.
Okay, this is an automated call using Joaquin's voice being sent to lawmakers all across the country. Now, it was made using AI from home recordings, voicemails, and his voice on social media. Now, his parents, Patricia and Manny Oliver, they're behind this project called Shotline. If you go to the project's website, you can pick from 6 different AI-generated calls. They feature voices of children lost in school shootings, like Parkland's. One is the voice of a 10-year-old, Uzi Garcia, who's one of the victims of the Uvalde shooting at that elementary school in Texas. So, should these voices be revived? Here's Joaquin's dad, Manny Oliver, what he told the Wall Street Journal.
I am very proud of my son. We have been in offices from senators, members of Congress. We have been ignored. Let's bring another voice. the voices of the murder.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of tough, huh? It is. All right, number 2 on our list of 5 things that you need to know right now. We all know that Joe Biden's deepfake robocalls that went out to New Hampshire voters telling them to stay home on primary day. Well, good news. The White House is now working on a plan to verify all official communications of Joe Biden, the pictures, the videos. There's going to be start using cryptography. Obviously, the White House is not prepared. They're saying that they are working on it. Yeah, that was their phrase. It's in the works. Okay. Where have you guys and gals been for the last couple of years? Oh, my gosh. Number 3 on our list, what keeps Sam Altman up at night? You know who he is. He's the biggest name in the AI boom. He is the CEO and one of the founders of OpenAI. Well, he said at the recent World Government Summit in Dubai that what keeps him up at night, here's his line, very subtle societal misalignments. What does that mean? What is that? He says that as these AI bots and these systems go into society without no particular ill intention, things could go horribly wrong. So here's the guy who's in charge of AI, who founded it, brought it to the future. Now he's saying that we need an international body like the Atomic Energy Agency as an AI watchdog. Yeah, we do. Moving on to number 4, how deep is Meta's surveillance? Well, it's unbelievable. When I read this Consumer Reports study, I'll tell you, I was just floored. They looked at the Facebook archives of about 700 volunteers to see how many companies were tracking data and then sending it to Meta. What they found, about 190,000 businesses. On average, each volunteer had their data sent to Zuck and Company by 2,200 companies. Some participants had their details spilled by more than 7,000 organizations. Who's behind all this? A data broker by the name of LiveRamp. Now, in case you want to scale back at all that data tracking, you're wondering how to do it, we actually wrote the steps up in a newsletter this past week. And if you're not already getting our free newsletter, just go ahead and sign up right now over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. And finally, this coming in at number 5. Oh my gosh. Maybe you're working from home and your family won't stop bothering you. Well, turns out that workers have found a solution. You go to YouTube and then you just search for Zoom meetings. Seriously. You see, back in 2020, in the midst of COVID, the city of Santa Fe uploaded videos of their Zoom calls onto YouTube. They were probably just put there for storage and safekeeping, but they're not the only company. So what's happening now is that people who are still working at home, they don't want their family to bother them. What they do is they fire up a Zoom meeting that's been recorded on YouTube so that this way they think everybody around them thinks that they're just working. Okay. Comments on YouTube. I use this whenever my in-laws are coming over. If they don't hear noises, my home office job just isn't hard enough. Or how about this? I've used this to get people to leave me alone for 2 whole days now, and it's been successful. That's right. They have no vid and they don't have COVID. All right, let's get started with Catherine in Manchester, New Hampshire. Hi there, Catherine.
So we are a small business here, and we are seeing an increase in, I'm calling them fake purchase order scam attempts. So we're getting these like really pushy emails asking for kind of random product, but really high end, like $70,000, $100,000. And, you know, they're very pushy. They want us to ship things right away. It's never to the actual company's address if you look them up. So these people are, I'm calling them imposters of places like General Electric and, you know, Infinite Electronics and really big companies.
Wow.
But the email is slightly off, like it's slightly spelled wrong. But I mean, they've gone as far as like filling out our credit applications and putting in the company's like real Dun & Bradstreet number, real federal ID number. But usually the emails are off, the addresses are off. So far we've been able to thwart all of these attempts, but I'm just wondering if there's like a better practice we could do just as a small business. They seem to be increasing. So I'm wondering if there's a better way we can vet new accounts, you know, any other things we can look for. You just seem to have like really good advice about like what
you know what?
Scams,
well, you know what, Catherine, is that it's happening to us too. I'm sure you have CAPTCHA set up for any online forms, right?
Yeah, and that's usually where they're coming from is through the online quote request forms. But I mean, they're impersonating like actual like directors of supply chain for general. Like if you look them up on LinkedIn, like that's their name, and they're really high level people at the company.
Here's what's happening behind the scenes is that you have hackers, scammers, whatever you want to call them. that are contracting with people located in very poor countries like Cambodia, Vietnam, India, and where some of these people are paid $100 a month. And $100 a month is a fortune. And so where they go onto LinkedIn and they'll find somebody's name and their title, and they'll go look up a D&B number, right? Get a real address. But that email address for you to contact them is just going to be just a little off, right? Maybe General Electric doesn't have an extra E in it or whatever it may be.
Right.
And the whole idea is that, for them to make money is that they've got to go ahead and scam you.
Right.
Now, it's not just people that are in, say, one room where, they get to go home during the day. What's also very, very frightening to me is that some of these people that are doing these scams are really set up as slaves. They are told, and normally they're young people, they're told that they're going to be getting a job working for a cruise or for a hotel in another country. And they round up these people, say out of Cambodia, and then they all these people think they're going to get this great new job in Vietnam or Laos or someplace else, India, and they end up putting them in a building where they have to scam people maybe 12 to 18 hours a day. And they have a quota that they have to get. And if they don't achieve that quota, they are beaten.
Oh, my God.
And this is real stuff that's happening right now. And so
it's awful.
It's awful. And so it's human slavery. It's human trafficking is what it is. And so because there are now so many of these operations, and of course, we're all trying to get them taken down and things along that, is that it seems to be increasing all across the board. And for them to get to that quota, for them not to be beaten, for them to whatever it may be, is that they have to be really good at their game. And that means that all of us, small business owners, medium-sized, whatever it may be, is that we've got to be really careful, especially because now AI is kicking in with deep fakes, videos and deep fake voices.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's where, we want to keep our forums online. We want to make things easier, but it also gives an entry point for fraud.
Yeah.
And, and so, we're going to put up a CAPTCHA, but these are human beings. They can get past a CAPTCHA, right?
Right.
They can find the 3 traffic lights.
Right. And they're asking us to ship to residential addresses in the United States. We're located in New Hampshire. And if you Google the address, do the Google Street View, it's always a house. It's never a business that they want us to ship to. Yeah. I mean, so you are catching all the red flags. Yeah. You have to you have to do things. They want things done now. Okay. Oh, yeah.
They, normally it's a real person at a real company, but things are a little bit off. You can always do third-party credit checks, right?
That's what I was thinking. Is this the time where this is getting harder and harder for us to support ourselves? Do we employ a third party? Or
do you get somebody on the phone?
Which has been possible so far, which have been more red flags, right? To actually try and call them has not been successful. They always want to do it through email. Because
English may not be their first language, okay? Yeah. And they may not have the ability to make a phone call. Right. Because these scammers, these hackers, these crime rings, whatever it may be, is they can't have these people on the phone. And it's very, very difficult for somebody to get out of these situations. It's almost like because I had the opportunity to speak to somebody who was under this type of scenario. And for him to get out, he had to come up with $10,000 from his family. So now knowing that this is all happening and, just puts a different spin on it, of course.
Yeah.
But they're still trying to steal from you. They're still trying to get it. And so, the whole thing is to keep everybody educated, to keep updated on the scams, recognize all the red flags, always contact the real company, use a phone number and email address that you can find through trusted sources, not the one that they're leaving there. Get secure payment methods, set up, lines of credit. If anybody asks for that, be really, really careful of this. But then it also goes, just one more thing is the deep fakes. There was this guy who got a phone call. You may have heard me tell the story on the show. He's the CFO of a medium-sized company. The CEO calls and says, hey, listen, you need to pay this supplier right now. You are behind the payments. And the CFO is like, we're not behind in the payments. He's like, yes, you are behind. We are behind. I just heard from them. I don't want to get these phone calls again. Release the $250,000 to them. The CFO releases the $250,000. It ends up in Mexico. Okay. Because that was not the CEO. It was a deep fake voice of the CEO. Even up to including the guy has a little bit of a German accent. They even got the little bit of the German accent. So, I'm so glad that you called, because we have so many small business owners who listen to the show that, you just have to really, really be so careful, and, we just went through all the red flags. And just if it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. And it's really an atrocity of what's happening is that it has gone to this. No longer are we dealing with the Nigerians. Now we're dealing with organized crime. Catherine, thank you for your call. I love taking your phone calls. All right. We're all talking about AI. And you might be wondering, so I tried it. I'm not really getting it. So that's where you want to know exactly what you're doing when you're using, say, Gemini or ChatGPT or Copilot. You want to start with seed phrases. These are your guideposts to setting the tone with AI, the style, the topic that you want. So you want to use phrases like, write this in a conversational tone. Make it sound super friendly. Keep it approachable, but keep it professional. Then tell chat what you need. I need an email, a blog post, social media update, anything. I need a draft for you to review, whatever it may be. I'll tell you, it's pretty amazing. If you haven't tried it, just get in there and do it. And don't pay monthly yet. Just get your feet wet first. Let's talk about more than 3/4 of Americans don't get 8 hours of sleep because of, drumroll please, their tech. A survey by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine found that 90% of all adults have lost sleep due to binge watching. Yeah, I'm there too. So what can you do to defeat that series addiction? Well, you want to turn off autoplay for starters. It makes it easy to go from episode to episode. Yeah, it's designed to keep you engaged, to keep you alert, and to keep you watching. So turn off autoplay on whatever your streaming service that you're using. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu. And then also think about setting up a sleep timer on your television. Now, once you do this, the sleep timer in your TV will automatically shut off the screen after a specified time. And then if all else fails, just go cold turkey. We're talking about no TVs in the bedroom, no watching on your phone, and no watching on that iPad either. That should do the trick. All right. We're so excited because we launched Kim Komando today, a new video podcast that you can watch on Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch, Rumble, as well as you can get the podcast wherever you get your podcast. It's called Kim Komando Today. Now, here's the deal. It's not just me. Andrew Babinski also joins me every single day. And then Ali Seligman, she comes in from time to time. And Andrew and I were talking about, something truly funny. Here, take a listen. Inch stones. You know what inch stones are?
No. Okay, sounds like an insult.
No, it's a new trend for 2024.
Okay.
And you're a parent.
I am.
6-year-old, 9-year-old.
Correct. My two little ones.
Global Pinterest searches are up for potty training reward ideas.
Okay.
By 100%. Okay. So instead of having you graduated from kindergarten, you graduated from 8th grade, is that the whole idea with inch stones that you celebrate things that seem small.
Sure.
But they may be significant. Okay. Like end of year school party ideas. That's up 90%.
Wow.
Okay. Now, this is the reason why I'm talking about this story. My first tooth party.
That's a big deal for a first tooth.
40%.
So
up.
My daughter lost her first tooth. She got $20. Then she lost her second tooth. And I managed expectations right there. I was like, Tooth Fairy doesn't give 20 for every tooth. And then we dropped down to 5.
Oh.
Are you saying here that was the wrong move? The second tooth should be as celebrated and loved as much as the first?
I was reading this story in the Wall Street Journal this morning. Some parents, a lot of parents, are giving for the first tooth $100.
That's too much.
$100. 20% of kids now receive both money and something else for each lost tooth. So they might get $100 and a video game.
For a lost tooth?
$100 and an iPhone.
They're not even doing anything. It's not even an accomplishment.
Yes, but it's their first tooth.
No. $20 is enough for a tooth.
So I did the math. I actually had to look this up.
Sure.
Kids have 20 primary teeth that they lose.
Okay.
To make room for 32 permanent teeth.
So if you give $100,
it's $2,000. What's that? 20 grand?
No, $2,000.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right. $2,000.
Yeah.
That's too much for lost teeth. I'm even downgrading tooth 3. And here's the thing. It was funny because I'm divorced. And when she lost her second tooth, she was at her mom's house. And her mom said, don't forget, put that in your pillow. She said, no, I got to wash it. Because she got $20 at dad's house. She was saving it for 2 days to put it on her pillow at dad's house.
Smart girl.
But she got downgraded to 5. So now she's going to bring tooth number 3 over back to her mom's to see where she can get more money.
Okay, but see, now she's going to go to school. Mm-hmm. She's going to say to her friends, I got like $5. And then
$5 is a lot.
And her friends are going to say, I got $100 in an iPhone.
I don't care about keeping up with the Joneses.
I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, at this rate, the tooth fairy is going to turn into a prostitute.
Such a stretch.
Okay, but it worked.
You got it there. I laughed.
Okay, I see. Okay, you're going to use that. I know you're going to use that.
With my children. And then I have to explain what a prostitute is.
A prostitute.
Prostitute.
Yes.
I apologize.
Let's see. We do have some comments about the prostitute. Liz Dotson, she writes, $20 for a lost tooth. She got 10 cents. Oh.
That was back in the day.
Do you remember Allison Hopkins Creech?
Oh, yeah.
Remember her?
The socks?
Yes.
Of course I remember her.
Yes. What did she used to say?
Well, she was a huge Carolina Panthers fan, I believe.
Yes, she was. Yes.
And then she sent us all gifts where there were these knee-high socks.
Oh, that's right.
And Mike James said, did you get your Yale socks? Or no? And I was like, what?
Yes.
And he's like, I got some socks that said y'all on them.
He thought it was Yale. Yeah. Like we were going to Yale University.
Right.
I'm like, my God, Mike.
I see her. We're Facebook friends. I see her commenting and posting all the time.
She says she used to get a quarter.
A quarter? Yes. So did I.
Yeah. Mike brings up a good point. Mike Thompson, $100 a tooth. That attitude has led us to excessive tipping a barber, a barista, etc. My kid gets $1 and a lesson in growing up.
Well, here's the thing too, is like I try to pay my kids like, hey, you guys want to go pull weeds in the backyard or something, right? And I'll say, I'll give you each $5 to do it. Well, they know $5 is worth nothing. They know they can't buy anything for $5. They're like, nah, we're good. And then I'm like, fine, you go do it and you get no money.
It's up to you. It's your choice, buddy. Okay?
I had to think about this, but I used to get 25 cents a tooth. I think I would also sometimes get $1. It never, oh my gosh, could you imagine $100 a tooth? Yikes. That would put you in the poorhouse. All right, that's Kim Komando today. I know you really loved it and you will love it. So every single day, Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m., that's on the West Coast, and 1:30 p.m. on the East Coast, as that's when you can catch Andrew and Allie and me. We just have fun talking about tech for about 30 minutes or so. So watch us on, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Rumble, as well as you can always get it as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. All right. Experts say that crime statistics are far too complicated for most of us to understand. But there's a simple thing that we can all do as families to stay safer. Yeah, like, for example, my son Ian is now in law school. When he began kindergarten, I bought him a cell phone. Of course, it just had a few buttons, mom, dad, and granny. But with today's phones, I recommend that every family use a secret code. Now, what you're going to do is text an emoji because it's inconspicuous and it's fast. So pick one that's really super easy to remember, one that you don't use. Maybe it's a tree, maybe it's a crescent moon, maybe it's an owl. And then be sure that location services like Find My on your phone is activated. Then talk with your family members and talk with your kids. Not a quick chat. I want this in-depth talk. Agree to use this code if there's ever trouble. I mean, it's just peace of mind for you, and it's really safety for them. Let's see, Matt in Cottonwood, California. Hi there, Matt.
I have a 16-year-old daughter that's getting ready to drive, and I'm one of those crazy parents that have not given their kids cell phones yet.
Ooh, you know what? You've held out. Wow.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. So she doesn't have a cell phone yet, and she's getting ready to drive, and I want a cell phone that does not have internet ability and does not have the availability to have social media apps. So my dilemma is where I live, I don't have cell signal. So all of our calls at home are made on Wi-Fi. And so is there a flip phone I can get that will be able to accomplish this, or is there software I can download to a smartphone to be able to make it a dumb phone, but still make calls on Wi-Fi?
Okay, I'm gonna throw you a curveball. Okay, she's 16. She's gonna go to college in 2 years. I don't know about you, but when I went to college, there were those kids that went crazy. You know the ones I'm talking about. That the parents kept them so sheltered that when they went out on their own, they were the worst. I mean, I had kids that their parents were vegans, and then the first thing they did, they went to McDonald's for 2 weeks in a row. Or the parents said, you're not going to drink, and we don't drink. And then all of a sudden, they're at the frat parties and throwing up the next day. Now, I don't know your daughter. I don't know your family. But what I would rather you do is that you give her a phone and you teach her to be a good digital citizen. And you teach her the rules of the road now, just like she's learning to drive, so that when she does go out on her own and she is a self-sustaining adult, that she has the tools and the knowledge to make the right decisions and not to be taken by the scammers and stalkers and creepos and everybody else on the internet, because nobody taught her the right and the wrong way to handle a phone. See, if you take everything away from her, you're not teaching her. And a phone is going to be with her entire life. Now, I'm not saying that you give her a phone and you go, oh, here, sweetheart, daddy loves you. Let me know how you're doing with your phone 2 weeks from now. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, here, sweetie, dad's going to give you a phone and I'm going to lock it down certain ways until I think that you are knowledgeable enough to use this. And let's talk about how much time we're going to spend on our phone every day. And what's the main purpose of a phone? And of having a phone is not a rite of passage. You're not getting this just because you turned 16. You're getting this because I think that you're mature enough to handle it right now. And I'm going to teach you how to use it the right way. So we're not going to use the phone at dinner time. If I tell you that to put your phone away, then I expect that phone to be put away and I want it on the kitchen counter. I need to know every one of your passwords. And I'm going to know exactly what you're doing on that phone. If I see anything that's done inappropriately or wrong, then I'm going to take that phone away. And let's talk about everything else on this phone. Okay. There's social media. There are people who are going to pretend that they're 18 years old and that they think you're beautiful and they want to meet you. You don't talk to strangers. You may see things online that you wish you've never seen. Then you need to tell me about that so we can talk about how to block that content. And why did you go there in the first place? If somebody asks you to send them a naked picture, I know that sounds strange, but they're out there. You're not going to send any naked pictures. Okay. Yeah. Because this is what they're faced with now. And you want her to have internet because if she gets in a car accident, you want an automatic notification if she can't reach her phone. And you're not going to get those capabilities with a flip phone. You're just not going to get it. So rather than just cutting her off at the knees, what I want you to do is to monitor her text messages. I want you to monitor her social media. And I want you to get alerts. If a word or something pops up, then you know it's there. She can't change the parental controls. You get real-time location tracking. You could say, I want to know when she leaves the house. I want an alert. I want to know when she leaves school. I want to know when she gets to work. I want to know when she comes home.
So how do we do that?
Exactly. That's the solution. Now, the solution is a few ways. Number one, you get an Android phone and I can send you all the steps. You set up restricted profiles. You disable unwanted apps. You can disable Wi-Fi. You can turn off App Store access. There's something called Safe Search. You can only search for certain things. And then you can also use Family Link, where you set time limits. You can lock the device at specific times. You can approve apps, hide apps. And there's something called Norton Family you can put on a phone. If you're looking for a phone for your teenager, just like I talked about monitoring and tamper-proof and location tracking and screen limits, there's only one, and I wish I could tell you that there were three, but it's called the Bark phone, and I'm going to send you a link to it, okay?
Right.
And it looks like a really nice Android phone, which is, you know what I like about that, too, is that she's not going to look like a freak carrying a flip phone.
Well, she's looked like a freak without a phone for her entire life. So all of her friends know that her dad, that incidentally works in law enforcement, and sees the...
Okay, now I know where you're coming from. I understand, because if you're in law enforcement, you've seen all the lowest of the low, and you know what's out there, and nobody is going to hurt your baby. But we want to teach her to handle the bad people, because she's going to run into them. You can only protect her so much. And when she's 18, 19, 20, I want to make sure that she's smart. And that's where you come in, and that's where you monitor everything that she does. And she knows you're going to monitor her. I mean, she knows that. It's a given, okay? But I think I really want you to look at the Bark phone. It's like $50 a month, and it does everything that I said. They're not a sponsor of the show. How I got introduced to them, they're a sponsor in our free newsletter, so you may see the link in there. But I have a family member who's in a similar situation. She's the eldest of 6 kids, and Dad's pretty bent on not giving her a phone. Explained to him just what I explained to you, and now she's got this phone, and he feels pretty confident that she's learning how to be a good digital citizen and a safe digital citizen. So, Matt, check out the Bark phone, and then I'll also send you know what, I'm going to send you Maddie's screening today. We're going to send you all the steps that it takes to lock down an Android phone, but also I'm going to send you a link to that Bark phone. But I think it's perfect for you. I really do, and thank you for your call. Hey, by the way, if you ever have a question for me and you can't get through here on the show, it's super easy. Just head over to commando.com and hit that link that says Email Kim. All right, it doesn't matter if you love her or hate her. Taylor Swift is one of the biggest celebs around. Her Eras Tour is the first one to make over $1 billion. Okay. But there were a lot of Taylor Swift scams, because where there's big money, there are scammers. So like, for example, you want to go to a Taylor Swift concert, they're sold out everywhere. And that's where the scammers come in. They're setting up these fake ticket resale sites, hoping that you're going to bite. Then you're pay up through Venmo or another digital wallet, which means that if you buy the fake tickets, you're going to be out the money and no tickets. AI tricksters have also faked Taylor Swift voice and image to promote free cookware online, free MacBooks. So here's the deal. Keep your eyes peeled. Falling for these scams could definitely leave you with some bad blood. All right, be sure to tell one person about the Kim Komando Show, because knowledge is power. And don't forget, check out Kim Komando today, every single day, wherever you get your videos. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise: home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 2.
All right, let's start with something I bet you never thought of. Okay, the next time you twirl that spaghetti all covered with cheese around your fork, you may find something more than just a meatball. There could be a microchip in your meal. What? Yeah, no joke. Italian cheesemakers have been hit with a cheesy dilemma: counterfeit Parmesan cheese. That's right, there are fakes everywhere selling for top dollar prices. Here's how it's worked. When it's scanned by a laser reader, the chips emit a unique ID to tell you if it's the real deal straight from Italy, and if not, then it's a total fake. But don't worry, those chips are completely edible. No word on if it changes the taste, but if there's no chip, it's nacho cheese. Oh, it's nacho cheese. Get it? I know. That was a great one. And on that happy note, welcome one and all. I'm Kim Komando, America's Digital Goddess, here with you once again. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts, because every single thing is now a tech thing. And you know the drill. You can find me on over 420 top stations across the United States. You can also get the Kim Komando Show now as a podcast. That's right. So if you're on Spotify, just look for Kim Komando Show. If you're on Apple, look for Kim Komando Show. And if you want to get the webcast as well as the podcast commercial free, that's when you can head over to komando.com and hit that button that says Komando Community. And a big shout out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio. Our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. All righty, just for you, every single day I go to at least 35 or 40 different websites to make sure that we're both up to date on what's going on in the digital world. And we're going to start with Super Bowl advertising. Yeah, and Temu. Temu pumped in 3 new commercials into this year's Super Bowl, all with the same motto, shop like a billionaire. Well, it's paying off. Temu gets over, 30 million downloads a month. The Atlantic says that in less than a year, Temu is 75% the size of Target.com. The online retailer topped the charts again because of this Super Bowl advertising. But I just want you to know, Temu digs really, really deep into your device. Gets 24 different permissions, including Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, photos, videos, your contact, your payment details. The U.S. government has flagged them for data risks, and now legal troubles are starting to pile up. A class action lawsuit in Illinois claims that Temu is collecting way more info than it lets on. So if you're thinking about downloading Temu, maybe put it on a device that you don't use. Put it on a laptop, maybe you just use for Temu. If you've already got Temu, I would delete that button. I would just get rid of it, I'm telling you. Moving into number 2, I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that. ChatGPT is getting a memory that it announced that this past week. So, for example, if you said in previous conversations who you are, what you're like, things that you do, things that you don't like, it's never going to be forgotten, including if you went on to ChatGPT and said, is this a rash? Take a look at this picture. And then maybe 3 months later, you're like, is this another rash? It's going to refer back to that other rash, which I know it's like everything that you put into ChatGPT is going to be used for something. I know inside the settings, if you are paying, you can go ahead and turn off some of that data collection, by the way. Moving on to number 3, it's only a matter of time before AI is your smartphone. Because definitely it's changing the way that we're all working. But imagine if you could seamlessly just talk to your phone and ask it to pull up information without digging around. That's where we're all headed. But you have to think of the data storage. Google's Gemini says that it stores all your chats for 3 years. Wow. So why? It can be reviewed by humans. Oh, come on, Google. You really think that we believe that? That's all you're going to use it for? ChatGPT holds onto your data for a month, also with a chance of human review on the side. So just keep this in mind whenever you're using ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini or whatever your perplexity is, that they're all keeping our data. They sure are. We don't know where it's going. All right, let's switch gears to something fun. Fujifilm and Skylum are hosting a bunch of free photo walks in cities all around the United States. Basically, you connect up with some local photographers and you walk with them while you're snapping pictures, and you also get to try out some new Fuji cameras. The first walks are going to take place in Vegas, Dallas, Salt Lake City. There's also going to be in Portland, San Diego, and a whole bunch of other towns. And so you don't need some fancy cam to take professional pictures, though. I mean, here are just a few tips. You know, if you're taking a video of something super important, I want you to switch your camera to 4K if you have it. Same goes for photos. You want to shoot in RAW. The phone probably has many optimized modes for the best picture. So the best way for you to kind of learn how to use it is for you to play around with it. And oh, by the way, ever wonder what that grid option is on your smartphone? Ever wonder what that's for? No, that is not so you can put the person in the center. Well, you can use it for that. It's really so that this way you can utilize the rule of thirds. And finally, this coming in at number 5. Wow. Okay. Sean Mackey booked a vacation rental in Memphis for him and his friends. It had like 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. And so his Airbnb superhost, Pamela Fowler, she had a policy that you couldn't have over 12 guests. Well, Mackey didn't follow the rules because she saw people coming and going on the security cameras. So she charged him $960 in fees after the vacation. He said, I'm not paying this. And then he left her a salty review. So Paula's like, what is going on here? So she clapped back hard by emailing his wife of a picture of him cozying up with another lady at her Airbnb at 3:16 in the morning. So now Mackey's crying about his invasion of privacy, his emotional duress, the problems that he's having now in his marriage, and he's suing the Airbnb host. Okay. He also says the man with the woman in the photo is not him. There's a lot of lessons here, right? All right, imagine this. You step outside and wow, you just see a mountain of Amazon packages. And then you start looking like, what happened? I mean, but they're not for me. I didn't order all this stuff. Well, that's exactly what happened to Dr. Cindy Smith from Virginia. And let me tell you, it wasn't just like 1 or 2 surprise packages. We're talking about over 100 different Amazon boxes. And they just kept coming and they kept coming. They kept coming. And inside these boxes were just like a whole bunch of random stuff. Headlamps, glue guns, kids' binoculars. And every single one of these boxes is addressed to someone by the name of Li Jiao Zhang. Cindy, it's so great to have you with us. So let's just dive in. So when did you first find yourself in this whole Amazon avalanche of packages? And how many boxes came to your doorstep in total?
Geez, probably maybe up to 150. But they were all sizes. Sometimes one headlamp, sometimes one glue gun, sometimes 20 headlamps with 6 glue. It was always a mix of all different sizes.
And so did you start like wondering like, oh, well, somebody's sending this stuff to the wrong address? Did you reach out to Amazon? Did you open a few boxes wondering what the heck's going on?
Well, we did. Like initially, I thought it was coming, we have a family lawn and landscape business. So I thought maybe my husband accidentally, there was an error and he ordered something weird. But once we ordered them and they kept being headlamps and mostly glue guns, and they were all addressed to the same man, we called Amazon and they are like, oh, it's probably some scam. Give it away, throw it away, or donate it. But they were not interested in having it back.
Okay. So then you're just sitting there with all these headlamps and kids' binoculars wondering like what the heck to do with it all?
Yeah, like the boxes were all the way out, onto our walkway, to the point the post office said, hey, your house is unsafe for packages. We're not delivering anymore. You have way too many. And so then I had to move them inside and it took up like my whole garage bay. But I was just like, I can't throw these away because that's not right. And I just started thinking, how can I do good with all the stuff?
And so what did you end up doing with it?
Oh, loads of things. I sort of made up these rules in my head that whatever I did with it, it had to go to somebody that was passionate about connecting people to the environment, because that's what I do, are very much into sustainability. So initially I gave them to groups of master gardeners, master naturalists, and those are environmentally oriented people that teach groups of youth or the public, in gardening or anything nature related. I gave them to a friend of mine who has an outdoor group for men of color. I gave them every Amazon driver that started coming to our house and would drop them off. And they came from Amazon, from FedEx, from post office. I said, hey, it's pretty dark here. We don't have street lights. Would you like lamps? And they'd be like, oh, man, we can't take any of that product. And I would show them my stash. And they'd be like, okay, maybe I can't. And they would, yeah. And I'd say, well, how many people in your family? Like one of them, he's like, my dad's a plumber. He works underneath cabinets. This will be great. So I did that. I gave them to all my family, all my friends. Family members took boxes. They gave them out in different cities. I gave quite a few to emergency management people as well, because we had just, seen this really bad storm where tree cutters were working through the night, up where I am right now in Maine. So we gave a bunch to them for their night rescues. We've given them dog walkers, animal shelters, veterinary clinics who have to walk dogs at night.
Wow.
Somebody who's doing nighttime stuff. Oh, and then I went to a convention where, huge Virginia convention for homeschool families. And anybody who came to our booth, where I sell these educational products to get parents and teachers interested in getting kids out into nature. I'd say, how many people in your family? And they'd say, well, I have 7 kids. I'd be, here's 7. You can have 7 headlamps. Or would you like glue guns? And I gave away about 600 events.
That is so innovative, really. I mean, so it actually became a way for you to give back to multiple communities and really just be like the best lady in the entire neighborhood for this to happen. Do you have any idea what the total value, dollar amount value is of all the boxes?
Well, we looked them up online. They've gone up in price since, but we thought it was about $17,000 that was sent to us. Yeah.
I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. And I know one thing that was weird is when I went to that, it was a 3-day convention. I gave away about 600 of them. And then I still had 2 boxes full. And so I gave them to every custodian, every maintenance worker in the Richmond, Virginia Convention Center, every security person. I went and gave them to every valet parking person. There was pizza delivery people on bikes. They got some, and I just handed them out and I felt so kind of like unburdened. And I drove home and the package is again. I was like, what?
Oh, no. You're like, okay, I'm finally free from all this stuff. And then it's like, oh my gosh, it's starting again. And did Amazon explain to you why some merchants do this?
No, absolutely they did not. They just kept saying, throw it away, give it away, donate it. There was no explanation given at all. I looked online. I assumed it was a brushing scam. Somebody wanted to get 5-star reviews for these products because supposedly every product that showed up was a verified purchase.
Yeah,
and it wasn't until
that normally happens on onesie or twosie products. I mean, not when we're talking about hundreds of boxes. And this was probably what I have heard is it's probably an instance where a third-party merchant is getting out of the business, and it's going to cost them more to have Amazon destroy the merchandise than if they just ship it to some random person. Well, apparently they picked the right person, Doctor, and congratulations on all the good that you've done with all of the headlamps and kids' binoculars and glue guns. I mean, who knew that you could pass them out to so many different people and impact so many lives? Thanks for telling us your story today. Oh my gosh, what a world we live in, right? Okay. All right, so Jim Salzman went up a ladder to get rid of pigeons at the top of a grain bin. And then the strong gust of wind knocked the ladder over. Wow. Jim fell 20 feet to the ground and he couldn't move. But there was tech that saved Jim's life. You see, he was wearing an Apple Watch. Here's how it works. When an Apple Watch detects a fall, you have to select one of 2 options. One, call emergency SOS or I'm okay. But what if the person is not moving at all? The Apple Watch waits a full minute, then starts a 30-second countdown before calling 911. Then emergency dispatchers hear a message that a hard fall was detected and is given the person's exact location. Next, the Apple Watch will notify the person's emergency contacts that a fall has occurred. See, that's how smart this smartwatch is. Now, the Apple Watch SE or the Apple Watch Series 4 or later has fall detection. If you're wondering which watch is the best one for you, we've got tons of articles over at commando.com. I get this question all the time. Help me, Kim. I'm in Facebook jail, or my Facebook account just got hacked. Okay. I know that you've tried every Facebook forum for help, and they just don't help. But most big tech companies don't have a phone number for you to call them for support. And for some reason, we just all think that that's okay. Now, if your Facebook account gets locked up, tough luck. I mean, what you never want to do is search for Facebook customer service because all you're going to do is get a scam phone number. Now, Facebook does offer basic tips, and there is a form for you to report this in its help center. But they are testing out live chat for anybody who's English speaking locked out of their account. So if you want to give it a try, just log into your account, click help at the bottom of the page, and check to see if there's an option for a live chat. With any luck, you might be able to get that Facebook account back. All right, let's see. James in Houston, Texas, glad to have you on board.
Oh, hi, Kim Commando. What a pleasure and honor it is to speak to you. I've listened to you for a long time. You're wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you. I think you're pretty wonderful too, James.
Well, that's very kind of you. So my question is about surveillance. My wife and I are headed to a foreign country, and we will be working with the government in the Ministry of Education, but we were wanting to know is there some sort of how do we detect any surveillance devices that may be in the apartment that we provided for us, and something that we could either take or buy over there, just to either know if we're being watched, or maybe disable it, to scramble it, or just remove it.
So which country are you going to?
Uzbekistan.
Okay. I think my first call would be to talk to somebody at the embassy or consulate, just so that you know what type of laws will cover surveillance and counter surveillance in that country.
Okay, well, that's a good place to start. I didn't even think about asking the embassy.
Yeah, so I would start there just to make sure. I don't want you to violate any local customs rules, anything like that, okay? So that said, next, how do we find this stuff? Of course, physical inspections. But keep in mind that these hidden cameras can be in just about anything. Clock radios, even the remote control for the TV could have a hidden camera. Okay.
Well, we've been on your website, and so yes, we've learned some of those ingenious hidden places, like Kansas soup and other things.
It's kind of crazy.
A dehumidifier, right?
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said, because when you see those pictures, that's when you're like, whoa, they can put these cameras anywhere, right?
Would never have thought of that, right?
And so next, you want to use a flashlight. Dark areas and many lenses will reflect light that can help you find hidden cameras. There's also a device called an RF signal detector.
We've actually put that in our cart, Amazon cart, from your recommendation.
Perfect. Okay. Then what you want to do is, when you get there, you want to look at the Wi-Fi network and look at the network itself. There are some apps that you can put on your phone, and it will tell you what devices are hooked up to that network. Now, that's not a fail-safe thing, but what you do is you look and see how many MAC addresses or how many different devices are on the Wi-Fi network. And then you can say, oh, well, I've got 3 and my lovely bride has 4, so there should be 7. Oh, wait, there's 10. What else could they be? Okay, maybe one's the television. Okay, maybe one is a smart speaker. Maybe whoever
refrigerator.
Yes, exactly. The Ring doorbell, or it goes on and on. So you start counting up all the devices.
I see.
One of the things that I have done, and I actually found some hidden cameras in a vacation rental this way, is that when I turned on the TV, is that I just kept scanning up the dial. And so you have, of course, your local channels, and then you have maybe your news channels, and you have your movie channels, and then you have your music channels, your pay-per-view channels. And if you keep going up, what I saw were cameras that were outside the vacation rental, although it wasn't disclosed to me that it didn't have to, because they weren't inside, because it was a public area. It wasn't in a private area, so there was no reasonable expectation for privacy. But I was able to find those cameras that way. Now, of course, once you're there, you want to use maybe encrypted messaging apps, VPN. Good password management, 2-factor authentication, good things like that. But again, I'm glad that you have that in the cart, because I think that RF detector was something that I would definitely bring. But I just want you to make sure, like I said in the beginning, that you're not going to violate anybody's rules by doing this.
Sure. Now, it will detect wired connections, or no? I mean, will it only detect wireless devices?
Well, the RF is a radio frequency signal that's being sent from the surveillance devices. Okay, so
I gotcha.
Okay, so that's going to be wireless. So as far as wired, that's where we're going to use an app and look at the different devices that are connected to the network.
I see.
So that this way we're going to add them all together. It's kind of a creepy thing that you even have to worry about this, quite frankly.
Yes.
Why are you concerned?
Well, since we're going over there, and we'll be, like I said, we're working with the government, but we just want to be careful. It's not necessarily that we've been told this, but we just want to be cautious. If we're going to a foreign country and going to live in government provided housing,
sure,
I would I would rather know that it's clean than just presume that it's clean or live in fear, wondering, are they listening? Are they watching?
Well,
and so we thought you might be able to at least offer some tips and some suggestions.
Well, so I think if you go through all that stuff, quote unquote, that we just talked about, I think that's great.
Yes.
And then I bet you that local consulate or embassy, they're going to have some information for you too about maybe you could ask them, has there ever been any experiences like this in the past that we need to be aware of? And just really get into their brain a little bit to see what else you can learn. And I'm glad that you have that in the cart. And if you need any other help after you speak to the consulate, just give me a call back. I'm always right here for you. Hey, I'm going to Japan in a few weeks. I've never been. So if you guys and gals have been there, drop me some notes about things that I should definitely check out. You can do it on social, as well as you can comment on our videos for Kim Komando Today. And you can always drop me a note through the website as well. That's komando.com. Okay, for decades, the cell phone industry has said, oh, don't worry about the level of radiation coming from your phone. It can never hurt you. Okay, but I like to play it safe, and I bet that you do too. Now, the first thing to know is that some cell phones emit higher levels of RF radiation than others. The biggest offenders include the Motorola Edge, Google's older Pixel phones, and the Sony Xperia. The lowest ones, Samsung's Galaxy phones, LG's G7 Thin Q. Now, what about the iPhone? All the iPhones just fall right in the exact middle. Now, about playing it safe, never carry on a conversation with your phone just placed directly against your ear. Always use a speakerphone or earbuds. And keep the phone away from your body as much as possible because it is transmitting even when you're not talking or texting. And remember, for every study that shows that your phone is perfectly safe, there's another study about the impacts of even low-level radiation on the body. All right, let's see. Patrick in Chicago, Illinois. Hi there, Patrick.
Well, I'm an old timer. I remember back in the day when I was in college, we used to use IBM punch cards when we were dealing with computers. And outside the science lab were the teletype computer terminals rather than with the CRTs or the flat screens that you actually typed out. You typed and received the information by typewriter.
Ooh.
I'm calling about password managers. I have one. I use one that came with a suite of antivirus software from a vendor, and I'm just curious as to how they work and how secure they are. And after I contacted your station, your show, I read your article about the passkeys, and I'm not sure about how those work. If you could enlighten me, I'd appreciate it.
All right, so, we're all tired of passwords, right? I mean, oh my gosh, 12 characters, 16 characters, upper, lower case, hieroglyphics, gang sign, whatever you want to throw in there, right? And yes, then you need a different password for each and every one of your accounts. And go ahead, try to remember them, which actually I remember mine, which is, I know it's a little nutso. But password managers, the whole idea is that you're going to have all your passwords inside of an encrypted vault, okay? And then there's a master password on the top of that. So when you know just the master password, suddenly it's like, the unicorns and ponies and flowers come out wherever you are on the web, and that will automatically fill in your password, okay? So the big question is, are they safe? Yeah, they're safe. The data is encrypted. Have they been hacked? Yeah, they've been hacked. Some LastPass, they seem to be having a lot of issues lately. But coming soon is what you called passkeys. Passkeys are in use on Apple, and now Google is just rolling them out. If you're on WhatsApp, they're also rolling out passkeys. Amazon's rolling out passkeys. And the whole idea is that, Patrick, when you need to get that two-factor authentication code in order for you to sign into your account or to change your password, whatever it is that no longer is it going to come via text message on your phone, because guess what? Hackers know how to get that, is that it's going to be a biometric. So it's going to be your face ID or it's going to be your fingerprint. And all you have to do is just go to g.co/passkeys in order to set that up on your Google account, and then Amazon, it's in your login under your settings. And then we've got the steps on how to do that all across the board over on the website. So as passkeys roll out, the whole idea is that our biometrics is going to be our own password, because like I mentioned with the two-factor authentication, is that if somebody clones your phone, right? Then you sign into your bank and they say, oh, this is a foreign location. We don't know where you are, but you need to have this 8-digit code in order to sign in. Whoever has cloned your phone, they have that 8-digit code to sign in. Then once they have that, they're in your account, and then they wipe out all your money. So with passkeys, it'll get rid of that. It'll get rid of passwords, and hopefully along the line. But if you're looking for a password manager, I mean, certainly there's KeyPass. Google has their own passwords. RoboForm is a sponsor of the show. So if you go to roboform.com/Kim, you're going to save 50%. But again, these passkeys are the new wave of the future. Thank goodness, because this way we can use our biometrics, and that'll be ultra safe. Hey, Patrick, thank you so much for your call today. All right, we have time for one more call. Becky in San Antonio, Texas.
So I guess in a nutshell, since I've been the victim of identity theft a couple of times, and this last time was really scary, I needed to redo my resume to look for a new job, and my Microsoft Word had expired.
Okay.
And I'm not really sure how secure my computer is. And when I went to renew, of course, they want all this personal information. And I'm just really wary of putting it out there anymore based on my experiences. And so that's when I wrote to you.
So let me ask you a question. So you suffered from identity theft, and on your current computer, you're afraid that there's still some malware, badware, snoopware that's on there?
Yeah, there could be. I haven't seen any signs for sure, but I just don't want to risk it. And so I was wondering about just getting a new computer and starting all over.
Well, on your current computer is that you could do a whole factory reset.
Okay.
And that will erase every single thing that's on there. You're going to have to, obviously reinstall any type of apps or software, get the files back on the computer. But a factory reset is pretty much like we're going to start from ground zero again. Okay.
Okay.
As far as with Microsoft Word, you may not need to use Microsoft Word. You could use Google Docs. Okay.
Okay.
Just works and looks and will even format things like a Word doc. What I like about using Google Docs is that it's available to me in the cloud everywhere. And then if I'm collaborating with somebody, I can see their changes. And it's not like I have to swap Google Docs with people anymore. Or Word docs rather. It's not like I have to email Word docs anymore. So I would try Google Docs. If you're on a Mac, there's Apple Pages. And then if you're looking for like a whole big Microsoft Office suite and you don't want to pay for it because it can get super expensive, there's a program called LibreOffice, and that's LIBRE Office. That's LibreOffice.
Okay.
But all of them have templates to help you build a resume.
Okay.
And so I would, reset the computer, make sure that you freeze your credit because you already had identity theft problems, and then take a look at some Microsoft alternatives, as I mentioned, Google Docs. If you're on a Mac, Apple Pages, or LibreOffice, that will do the whole Microsoft shebang. And guess what? It's free. Yes, we love that. Becky, thank you for your call today. And if you need a new computer to write those resumes, hey, we're giving one away. Come on. Did you notice that professional segue right there? Head over to commando.com/win. That's commando.com/win. We are just a couple of weeks left. So if you have not entered to win already, I'm telling you, you're missing out. This could be your big chance, okay? You get your choice between a Windows PC or a Mac up to $1,000. Even if you want 3 Chromebooks, 4 Chromebooks, okay? You can win those too. I'm just going to give you $1,000 on a new Windows or Apple or Chromebook, whatever you want. All right, so how do you enter to win? It's simple, commando.com/win. That's KOMANDO, commando.com/win. I'm telling you, you should enter right now. So where do all those expensive returns go? Probably to what's called a bin store, and it's sold at prices that you're not going to believe. I mean, people all across America are heading to these bin stores that are located in malls or strip malls or even just standalone stores in order to get some great deals. And they're on the hunt for low-priced treasures. I mean, what can you find? iPhones, tablets, computers, shoes, clothing. Just think about a return, and it's probably in there. So to find a bin store near you, just go to Google and use the search phrase like bin stores near me or Amazon return stores. Now, remember, this is an adventure. You don't know what you're going to find, but you have to be smart. Some items might be damaged. There's probably some counterfeit junk in there, too. If something's electronic, it's really important. Ask if you can plug it in and try it out, because usually no returns are allowed at a bin store. Hey, don't forget, Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. on the West Coast, 1:30 p.m. on the East Coast. It's Kim Komando Today, wherever you get your video streams. Come join us. I think you're really going to love it. That's Kim Komando Today.
Thank you for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 3.
Okay, so Bill Gates was asked where he would go if he could time travel to the year 2100, and what would he be curious about? So what do you think Bill Gates' answer was? Okay, it wasn't about checking on his family, see how his business went, or the impact of all his charities. Bill Gates said he'd want to know one thing. Did AI end up being a force for good, or did it spell doom for humanity? Now, if you don't know where he stands on AI, he totally loves it. He thinks it's going to cure cancer, make the world a better place. And also, we're going to live in a world where machines will make all of our food. He said that. Kind of reminds me of that old joke. Okay, Bill Gates walks into a bar and everyone inside becomes a millionaire on average. Yeah, some big math there. You're about ready to get more tech smarts, because every single thing is now a tech thing. I'm Kim Komando, of course, America's digital goddess, and you have tapped into the biggest show, the best show, the most trusted show. And if it's your first time tuning in, a huge welcome to you. And to our returning listeners and viewers, it's always great to have a familiar face with us. And you can find my show on over 420 top stations across the United States. You can also find the Kim Komando Show as a podcast. That's right. Whether you're on Spotify, just search for Kim Komando Show. If you're on Apple, you're going to search for Kim Komando Show. See how there's a trend here. And if you want to get us out of a webcast and a podcast, hit komando.com and just hit that button that says Komando Community. And a big hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine, the Coast Guard, the Space Force, joining us on the American Forces Network Radio. Our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254. Love to hear from you. All right, you can count on me for doing the heavy lifting for you. I'm talking about checking out 35, 40 different websites to come up with the 5 things that you need to know that's happening in the tech world right now. And we're going to talk about Big Brother. Employers like Walmart, Delta Airlines, Chevron, Starbucks, they're using artificial intelligence now to monitor messages between employees on Slack, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and you can bet all the other work apps. And this AI software is called Aware. It's an analytics product that shows employers how its workforce are talking and communicating to one another. So let's say that at your job, they launch this huge marketing campaign and you're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The company is going under because of this. So Aware, that AI software I was telling you about, it's going to sift through employee messages and then send your boss a reading of the overall sentiments, saying that it is anonymized. Okay. My advice to anyone who's working at a huge company, I wouldn't put anything negative in your chats. I would never put anything negative. Something that you wouldn't want to look at again. Don't put in your chat. Just keep that in mind. I mean, it may feel casual because you're chatting with a coworker, but definitely not something that just goes into the intergalactic bit bucket. Number 2, to get into my office, I need to swipe my key badge not once, not twice, but 3 times, yes. To enter the studio, that's a whole bunch of other swipes. And if you're sitting there saying there's got to be a better way, well, yes, we're talking about biometrics, using your face and body scans as the key to everything. So just pulling up to your workplace, the gate just opens up for you. Your face or a hand wave gets you through the door, logs you into all of your work stuff. And it's not just that, it's also the way that you walk. So if you're walking towards a door, your gait can actually be the way that you get in. Now, of course, your biometric data, it's about as personal as it gets. So just make sure, like other things in life, that you are not careless on where you put out your biometrics. From the what could possibly go wrong department comes this at number 3. Zillow's solution to high rents and housing shortages is a brand new feature. That's right. That lets you sublet a room in your apartment or your house. Yes, a single room. So for renters, or if you're paying those high apartment rents, maybe you don't want to venture into the world of Craigslist or Marketplace for a roommate, this might be an option. There are tons of websites that already do this. Roomster, Craigslist, as I mentioned, Rooming, are all popular. Renters can post too. So yeah, just all get ready for a new level of Zillow strangeness to start scrolling through. Number 4 is really, really bizarre. You're in the bathroom and you notice something out of place. You should just leave that bathroom. 2 spy cams were found placed inside bathrooms in Seattle's Expedia headquarters. A longtime worker at the headquarters spotted something out of place when he went to the bathroom one day. White boxes with weird cell phone type devices attached to them with black Velcro. Yeah, that would stand out as strange in a bathroom, wouldn't it? After a review of the security footage, they found a former Expedia employee, Marcelo Vargas Fernandez, placed them there, but there was more. Officers equipped with electronic sniffing dogs. Wow, isn't that something? Yeah, these dogs are trained to just sniff out electronics. They found 3 spy cams, 22 solid-state drives, 6 hard drives with 20 terabytes of storage after looking into his car in his apartment. Whoa. 10 people were put in the footage and more victims were discovered. The spy cams, where did you get them? On Amazon, of course. This is kind of a strange story coming in at number 5. Gen Z is translating the Bible on TikTok. It's called the Gen Z Bible Stories. It has about 400,000 followers and 3.5 million likes. Here's a clip of the Gen Z translation of the Annunciation.
Mary was a pick-me girl for God and was simping for him in prayer when the angel Gabriel appeared to her and said, "You've passed God's vibe check and he wants you to be the mother of the main character, the son of the top G." She said, "How can this be, since I promised him my body count will always be..."
Okay, so when you listen to this, I know it was hard to understand because of the music and stuff, but basically it's a guy that's translating the Bible into Gen Z talk. So simping describes Mary's deep devotion. Past God's vibe check, that she was the perfect Joyce. Her body count will always be 0. That's her commitment to be a virgin. The Holy Spirit will live rent-free in you is how Gabriel explains Mary's pregnancy without sex. And when she says bet, that means she agrees. What a world we live in, right? Hey, but if it gets the Gen Zers into the Bible, I'm all for it. Okay, let's dive right into our phone calls. Diane in Springfield, Massachusetts. Hi there, Diane.
Hi there. This is an honor to talk to you, Kim, and thank you for advocating for those of us who struggle with technology.
Oh, you betcha.
So we live in a very remote portion of the state, and we are one of the lucky towns that have just started to have fiber. Many of the surrounding communities do not have high-speed internet yet. Now, my husband and I run a very rural animal rescue and foster sanctuary, and we currently have a small, well, she's not small, she's young, 2-year-old Great Dane who is jumping our 4-foot-high fence and being naughty and running off into our woods, which abut a state forest. So when she takes off, she's gone for a few hours, and we can't access where she is. So if I put an AirTag on her with no one, surrounding us having high-speed internet, would we be able to track her?
It's probably not if you're in a super rural area. Because see, the AirTags, they not only they don't really work off of cellular as much as they work off of Bluetooth. And so the signal from the AirTag bounces from various Apple devices around it in order to pinpoint a precise location. And so, for example, if I have no cell phone coverage, but I have, I have a Wi-Fi network and I've got an iPhone and I've got an AirTag, then we're going to be able to track down the dog. So that being the case, and is it a big town or is it you said it's a small town?
1,000 people.
Oh, I wouldn't bank on an AirTag. I wouldn't trust an AirTag. If you're going to be looking for any type of device in order to track this dog, that's when you're probably going to be looking at a GPS type collar. And when you start looking at GPS-based collars, is that you've got pretty much two names in the industry that come up. One is called Fi, that's Fi, and the other one's called Halo. And these have, I actually have the Fi on my golden retriever, Abby, as well as an AirTag.
Okay.
Just in case. And with the Fi collar is that you can pinpoint her on a map. You can set up geofences. They also have a little bit of a social media profile if you want for your dog, and other dogs can follow your dog. And, it's waterproof, so she can jump in the pool with it. But the big distinction between the two is that with Fi, the battery life is 3 months, and with the Halo collar, it's 24 hours. So who wants to charge this darn thing every 24 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because it's GPS-based, it can be used in your community.
Okay.
So that's where I'd be looking at something like a Fi collar. Now, of course, if I say GPS and it's a collar and how much it's going to cost, I mean, you can buy 3 months for $54, and it's subscription based. And then, of course, you got to buy the collar itself. That's about $110. And so that would probably be, if I'm really trying to track a dog in a rural area, and I want to make sure that it doesn't go over the fence, because you can set up a geofence. You know what a geofence is? You know what that is, right?
No.
Okay. A geofence is a virtual fence. So on a map, you would draw a box. And so when the dog goes out of this box on the land, like a virtual, on your property, you draw a box.
Okay.
And then if the dog goes outside that box, you're going to get an automatic text message alert, email, however you set it up.
I see.
So you would know exactly the moment, and you know exactly where she's located. It's and dogs, like you said, you have a great rescue operation going there, and dogs are family. They are. I mean, I love my Abby dog. She's just so funny. If you want to see a great video of Abby, head over to Instagram.com/KimCommando, and you can see, from time to time, I'll look outside and I can't find her. And then I look in the spa, and she's like dancing in the spa. This dog is dancing in the spa. It's so crazy. So anyway, again, you want to check out the Fi collar, Diane, and thank you for your call. Let's see. Julie in Shirley, Alaska. Hi there, Julie.
Well, I'm going to be in the market for a new computer, and I was hoping that there's something out there that does not have a lot of stuff where they can track you, everything you do. And I really am not very computer savvy, so I just didn't know if there was a basic computer out there that you could recommend that would serve those needs.
So you're tired of Google and Apple, or the above?
Yes, Google, Apple, all of it. I use DuckDuckGo. I got off Google a couple of years ago. I don't use them anymore. So I use DuckDuckGo. I went to Rumble. Mm-hmm. Everything that I'm trying to just get out of all that stuff, all the woke, tracking everything that they just want to know what your business is. So,
yeah, it's the reason why this is what you hear with my hesitation. When we start talking about a computer that doesn't have any tracking, typically what we're going to do then is we're going to use something called the Linux operating system. Okay.
Okay.
They have names like Tails, Cubes, Ubuntu. It can be really challenging unless you're really tech savvy to set up and to use it. Okay, just going to tell you that right now.
Okay.
Now, there is a company that will set it up for you, and you can look at their laptops. They also have phones too. It's a company called Purism. And their product line is called Librem. It's Librem, Purism. And they have laptops that have the Linux operating system built right in. And they also have like kill switches, and you can physically disconnect components that you might think, somebody's tracking me, like maybe a microphone or a camera at that point. And then there's also another company called Pine64, and they have laptops as well, and they run these versions of Linux. And so, at this point, you're going to work on an operating system that is not from Microsoft, okay? It's not from Google, It's not from Apple. And it's an open source operating system. You can still use the web, and you can still work on documents. And as long as you're not going to be using the products that are supplied by the big tech companies, Julie. You're not going to be using Google Docs. You're not going to be using Apple products. It's very difficult in trying to really work within the constraints of our society and not be susceptible to any of the products that big tech give us, because let's be honest, a lot of these products are super good, okay, and they don't charge for them. So in order to make their money, is that they are, again, charging for our data when they sell that. I mean, even your TV is spying on you and selling your data. And we've got links on the website on how to get rid of that. So if you're so inclined, we'll send you these links over to these companies so you can check them out. And after you check it out, if you want to go into this just a little bit deeper, I want you to give me a call back, and then we'll walk through the next step of what it's like to have a machine that is not tied to big tech in any way, shape, or fashion. And it's pretty difficult, but it can be done. And thanks for your call today, Shirley.
Oh, the tracking, it gets so old, doesn't it? Joining us right now on the Kim Komando Show is our very own amazing content queen, Ali Seligman. Hello there, Al.
Hi, Kim.
So I understand that you have something for me.
Well, you just said tracking, so I feel like this is perfect. Are you ready? I have a joke for you because I missed you this week.
Oh, that's right. I was getting my eyeball checked out at UCLA.
I know. It was crazy. We spent only like 3 whole days together.
I know.
Instead of all of them. Okay, why did Little Miss Muffet put a GPS tracker on her tuffet?
Why did Miss Muffet put a GPS tracker on her tuffet? Why did she?
Well, she kept losing her way.
Oh.
I just thought that you should feel like we all feel.
No, really honest? That's bad. All right, so we're going to talk about back to the office strategies, things that are going on in the office. I ran across this over at CNBC. Goldman Sachs wants employees, like so many other companies, 5 days a week. At Google, they are factoring in-office attendance into your performance review.
Oh, so if you don't show up, you get all right, I guess that makes sense.
They say 90% of companies plan to implement a full return to office policy by the end of 2024. 30% say that their company is going to fire employees who don't comply with in-office requirements.
Okay.
Now, listen to this. Only 2% say that their company never plans to require employees to work in person. Only 2%.
2%. That's kind of crazy. I would have certainly expected at least 2 digits.
Yes, 2%.
Yeah.
2%. So what do you have going on?
Here's a really fun headline that I read. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Performance reviews will bite this year. Be ready.
Oh, God.
Totally unrelated, but Kim, you look gorgeous today, and your jokes have been spot on, and I think you're so smart. Really, though, people are saying that during the pandemic era, I guess is what we're calling it now, I don't know. During the past few years, managers have been easier on their employees because, the world was kind of a crazy place to be, and so performance issues didn't get flagged or addressed the way that they might have. In normal times.
It was hard to do that.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
yes.
Number one, everybody was just traumatized.
Yes.
Okay. And so I don't know about you, but I mean, I was not at my 110% capacity.
Nobody was. And I think to expect that is kind of crazy.
It was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, so things would go wrong. And so it's like, okay, well, that's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world, whatever
Let it
was.
go.
Yes.
Things got a little more lax, a little more loose. But now, there was this big poll of HR professionals. 40% say that the big priority for them and their companies this year are performance management, aka making sure that people know if they're actually doing a good job or if they're just skating by. So if that's you at work and you heard that and thought like, oh no, maybe they're going to notice. They probably are going to notice. So time to put on your big boy and big girl pants and do a good job.
Otherwise, that PIP plan is coming your way.
Oh, so gross. Yes. Well, I can't tell you listening how to do better at work because I don't know what you do for work. But I do know one thing that is pretty universal is etiquette, workplace etiquette. Kim, when I say that, what do you think of?
I think of a few things.
Okay.
I think of two stories. I think of the time that we were showing a new website, and the person who was demonstrating the new website to people that were in this conference room, a woman raised her hand and said, I don't really understand how that works. And the gentleman who was showcasing the new website as an employee looked at her and said, that's because you're old.
Oh, baby. Yeah, that's not cool. Okay.
Another time is that this newly hired gal was heating up her lunch in the break room.
Okay.
Here in these studios. And so, it's a big door, there's no even doors in the break room.
Yeah.
So she's decided that she would heat up her halibut from the night before.
Saw this coming 50 miles away, fish in the microwave.
Okay. So a gentleman who was also in the break room looked at her and said, you have to effing be kidding me, right?
Oh.
And she's like, what? He said, didn't you see the rules? We have rules, and there's no fish in the break room. Okay. She grabbed her stuff and her fish and walked out the door.
Did she ever come back?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. I think we can learn a few lessons there.
Yes.
Fish in the microwave. Oh, it depends on the situation. Most people don't like it. And also, don't yell at your coworkers.
No.
Which I think is a big etiquette thing here. I'm talking about this because the LA Times just did this big piece, really interesting, about business etiquette trainers. So trainers. So now that people are coming back to work, we're realizing, okay, it's been years since everybody's been interacting with each other all this time. People are, one, driving each other crazy. Two, people maybe who manage don't really know how to deal with some of the new issues that are popping up. And so they're paying people to essentially, have these training workshops, charm school, I guess we can call it, etiquette school, for their employees to teach them how to be.
So are they teaching them
all kinds of stuff.
Basic social skills? Or?
Some of it, yes. So it's everything from being professional in person or on Zoom, how to give feedback, dress code, how to remember people's names is a common topic, how to conduct yourself during a business lunch, because I guess some people, eat like slobs, and it's really embarrassing.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those. Yeah.
So we'll get to some specifics. I want you to guess for me the average price of a class with one of these people who was interviewed. So this is a half day. They come to your building. We're not talking about if they have to travel, just for the class.
$2,000.
$6,500.
No way.
Yes.
We are in the wrong business, girlfriend.
We really are. I think we should get on it and tell that fish story. But yeah, we're not going to pay $6,500. You probably are not either. So let's go over quickly a few of the things that they're teaching in these courses so that we are not making those embarrassing mistakes. One of them, business etiquette for people who give presentations. So a manager saw essentially somebody give a presentation. It was bad. Maybe they said something like, you don't get it because you're old. Maybe they read every single word on their PowerPoint. Don't do that. It's so boring.
Yes.
The big issues there are people showing up late. That's easy. Go to your meetings on time. Yes, I know. You get that reminder that says it's in 10 minutes. You actually need to pay attention and go to your meetings. The other one, people taking over the conversation. This one's kind of funny to me, and I guess I can see how it's a little bit different in real life versus, a Zoom meeting, Google Meet, whatever.
Sure.
One person who just decides, this is my meeting. I'm the only one who's going to talk.
They just have to ask questions after questions, and you're like, okay, take that another time, right?
That kind of makes you feel like you're back in high school or something, or a college class, right? When you get to leave, but there's that one person who has a million questions. Yes, that is actually a really good one too. There are some questions, they're not for the group. Those are for either you and your manager, you and one person. So I think that's a thing to be cognizant of too. Handshakes are apparently a really big topic. Now, this came up because during pandemic times, people got a little bit weird about touching each other, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like you don't know if somebody's sick or if somebody's a cold, whatever it is. So one of the questions was, if you put out your hand to shake someone's hand and they don't go for it, what do you do to not look like an absolute fool? Well, one of these people says, just put your palm on your heart and say, it is so good to meet you. It's like a little save. Oh, it's so good to meet you.
Okay.
Hey, maybe we'll use that. Small talk is a big topic because, again, people are not used to making small talk with strangers in person the way that they might have on a computer, right? So there's that little level of awkwardness where it's like, what are we going to talk about right now? Some of my favorites are, if it's somebody you've never met, I like the old, hey, where are you? Where are you based? What's it like there right now?
Yeah, that's true.
It's so easy. Everybody can talk about that. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, I'm in whatever, and it's raining. Great. You just used 5 minutes, right?
All right, we have time for one more.
Speaking of Zoom, I am going to do one more digital one because so many people are still on it. Stop eating on camera, people, or at least mute yourself. I have seen multiple people chowing down on a salad, on some soup, whatever it is. Not you with the soup, Kim. Don't worry. But eating on camera, it's just distracting. It really is. People are just going to watch. So turn your camera off. Just say, hey, I'm going to eat lunch while we do this meeting.
That is like the best advice because nobody wants to see you like eat. I mean, it's just, we're not sharing a meal. We're just having like a 15-minute conversation.
Yeah, just say, hey, I'm pressed for time today. I'm going to eat during this, so I'm going to turn off my camera, and nobody will even blink at it.
Exactly. Well, these are great, Al, and you know what? We could do this seminar. We could totally do this.
I think we could. Okay. So much of it's common sense.
All right. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
All right. Adam in Aiken, South Carolina.
Hey, Kim. How are you?
I'm good. I love your accent. Are you from New York? No, kidding.
I'm not. I'm Southern born and raised.
I knew that. I'm just giving you a hard time. So what's on your mind?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you I love your show. Love listening to you.
Well, thank you.
Second, we have 3 kids. One's 17, the other 2 are 5. And just working in all is on mayhem. My wife is looking to work at home or trying to find a job to work at home.
Mm-hmm.
But everything we seem to come across on the internet is either not true or scams or just not legit. We need a legit job.
Well, what is she qualified to do?
The last 20 years, she's worked in customer service. She's been a manager of a finance company in the finance business the last probably 10 years of that. So she has the customer service background, the collecting, finance, and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, of course, the worst thing you can do is just Google search make money at home, right? So
right. Yes.
Because then it's like, all right, I'm going to get every scammer under the sun just right on me.
Yes.
But she has skills that are definitely available for remote jobs. And you want to use like maybe the job boards like Flex Jobs, remote.co. There's also remote.io. But here's the deal is that even then you're going to run into scammers. And so what I would suggest is that if there are companies that she would like to work for, big companies, and then I would look on their website under their career section for any type of remote opportunities. So like, for example, you said customer service. I can tell you right now that Amazon seems to be always hiring remote customer service folks. Okay. And for budgeting and accountants and finance managers, there's always positions for that as well as accounts payable and receivables, and even just, maybe some strategic specialist or analyst in accounting. And, but if there are companies that she is familiar with or that she knows that she'd like to work for, that's where I like to direct people to those positions, right? And there is a website that I would also recommend, aside from Flex Jobs and this remote.co. It's called The Work at Home Woman. And that's the website, The Work at Home Woman. And this is a job board, and it looks like they vet some of the opportunities in there. But of course, we always have to be super smart when we're looking at any type of work at home opportunity, meaning like, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, right? If they're asking you they're going to send you some money to buy a laptop And so that this way you can use that laptop in the job, but they send you $4,000 and the laptop's only $799. And then they say, oops, we made a mistake. Can you send us the difference? Okay. Well, you're going to send that at your account. Then you're going to be out, the $3,300 or whatever it is, right?
Correct.
And if they ask you to pay for an opportunity, then that's not, the main HR rules still apply. Meaning that you're going to have to fill out an application. You're going to have to go through some type of interview process. It may be that the company hires you or your wife or whoever's looking for the job. And you said your wife, but whoever's listening, that they want to put you on a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day probationary period as a contract only in person under a 1099. That's sometimes that happens. But again, you want to look at the positions that are legit on the websites. And that's why, because the scams are so rampant now, I just want to make sure that you are making sure that you are pursuing the best opportunities. And we do have lists of these work-at-home jobs that are legit over at commando.com. And so just use the search box, say work at home, and I'm sure a couple of these are going to pop up for you. If you need any help afterwards, Adam, just give me a call. I'm always here for you. And thanks for being such a loyal listener to the show. Really, really appreciate your support over the years. It's good folks like you that have made my career very, very accessible and profitable, and one that I just really, really dig doing day after day. I love your questions. Now, if you're sitting there saying, oh, I have a question for you, Kim, I have a question. Here's what you need to do. Head over to commando.com. That /win is where you win the PC, but there's also a button that says email Kim. See how things happen, right? So logical. Commando.com. There's a button that says email Kim. Fill out that form, send it off to me. I read every single one of your notes. All right, police in Washington, D.C. have a new way to track down stolen cars. They're using AirTags. But what's the best place to put an AirTag? Well, forget the glove compartment. That's the first place where the thieves are going to check. Okay, a better option, you want to put it in the engine bay, because there are so many metal bits in an engine that it's virtually impossible for anyone to spot a tracker, especially thieves on the run. So what you want to do is use some of that Gorilla duct tape, put that on the AirTag, and boom, that's it. You're tracking your car. Now, if you're on Team Android, I love you too. Just pick up a tile tracker and again, put that in the engine bay. 24/7, you can always find me on the website over at getkim.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 4.
I always like to kick things off with something super fun. And what's a good thing to do on a first date? Maybe go grab coffee, take a walk, go to an event like maybe the state fair? Nope. In a recent survey from the streaming service Tubi, of Americans who stream movies, 57% say Netflix and chill is the perfect first date. That's code, of course, for, watching or streaming a series or a movie and then really getting to know each other. So just a PSA, Netflix and chill is okay, but always say no to pirate and booty. Hey, listen, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And if you're a brand new listener to the Kim Komando Show, welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. And if you're already a listener, a huge welcome back. You can find my award-winning show on over 425 top radio stations throughout the United States. And of course, we're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for My Last Name Komando. And you can find us as a podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for My Last Name Komando with a K, of course. And I know that you have a slew of questions that I can help you with. And that's why our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. Alrighty then, every single day I go to at least 35 different websites to make sure that we're both up to date on what's going on in the tech universe. And here are the top 5 things you need to know right now. And let's start with this scenario. Say you're not feeling that well and you can't get to the doctor. Telehealth is not available. So what could you do? AI to the rescue. You're going to jump inside a so-called care pod. You walk up to the pod's door. You unlock it with your phone. And inside, you're going to see a large touchscreen, a chair, and a glowing ring on the floor. That's the full body scanner, by the way. And maybe you need a blood test, thyroid test, diabetes screening. Basically, any ailment that you might have, it's all inside this care pod. There's no doctor or nurse, by the way. It's just you that walks into this artificial intelligence equipped pod. Now, on the inside, a drawer pops out with everything that you need for whatever test that you want. Now, CarePod says that it can also check for STDs. Kind of in the dark about how that one happens. Well, the cost of CarePod, on-demand access virtual visits for $99 a month. They do not accept insurance. So snagging a medical appointment right now can be a real headache. And that's why these medical pods can offer healthcare that's quick, convenient, without waiting rooms. They're going to be available early next year in about 25 different cities. It's amazing. Now, I think this could be a real winner because when you need physical tests, you just would walk into the pod. Yeah, this is the future, folks. Coming in at number 2, an AI smart pin. Well, let me back up. After Apple introduced the iPhone, all phones looked like an iPhone. We're talking about full screens with icons and no buttons. So what's next? In a former horse stable in San Francisco, a husband and wife, along with their small team, are hard at work on what they and a growing number of experts believe just might be the successor to the iPhone. The small startup company is called Humane, and it's working on an AI smart pin. This is a device that will clip onto your shirt, controlled by speaking out loud or by hand movements. Now, let me tell you something. There is no screen. A full-color laser projects whatever you need to see right in the palm of your hand. It plays music into your earbuds, and they say that its AI is better than anything that we have come up to date, including Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant. The smart pin goes on sale for about $700 in just a few weeks. And now we're all going to wait to see if our love affair with the iPhone is on shaky ground. Coming in at number 3, what do you do if your EV catches fire? Car fires happen more frequently with gas-powered vehicles than electric ones. Now, of course, one reason why there are far more gas-powered cars, and when one catches fire, there's usually an obvious reason. Say it was probably an accident. But with an EV, this is where it's totally different, folks. A spontaneous fire, usually originating with a lithium-ion battery, can happen with or without an accident, while the car is moving or parked or while it's charging. Now, EVs burn differently than gas-powered cars, of course. Temperatures reach almost 1,500 degrees. So how do you put this fire out? The Wall Street Journal reports firefighters say, just let it burn. Seriously, water will not extinguish a battery fire. Yet one more very important reason to never ever charge these things in your garage or your carport. Coming in at number 4, your house cleaning during the holidays, you could be sitting on a gold mine. I'm talking about in your closet, the garage, the basement, the attic. It's easy to discover what things have value on the used marketplace. For instance, these used high-quality exercise equipment, it is actually a top-selling item on eBay, OfferUp, and Facebook Marketplace. Now, most sellers, they don't really know the actual value of what they have. Many exercise equipment, and we're talking weights and dumbbells and stuff like that, they sell very quickly because the owner is moving. They just have to dump them. So if you're a buyer, there are deals to be had. Buyers are also looking for high-quality natural fiber rugs. They want wool, silk, or cotton. And here's one that I bet you're just not expecting. 12 million searches for good used brand name shoes. Yeah. And 70 million right now are looking for toys and games. So dig through what you've got, do a little research, check prices, and then get selling and then shopping online. And coming in at number 5, say it in 8 seconds or don't say it at all. Every single day, we're all over social media, TikTok, Instagram, Snap, X, Facebook, YouTube, and all the others. And what's happening is that our attention span is getting shorter and shorter. Believe it or not, we no longer have the attention span of a goldfish. Yeah, that goldfish, they say is 9 seconds. The average human attention span is now down to 8.25 seconds. Wow. Now, if you're speaking before a polite live audience, Professor Jerry Del Colano at NYU says that if you can't hold their attention for 8 seconds, you have lost them. The average watch time of an internet video is fewer than 3 minutes, if it's good. 1/5 of Spotify songs get skipped over after the first 5 seconds. Wow. So here's the deal. If you're a content creator, you're a writer, a speaker, a teacher, actor, singer, performing artist, whatever, you have to remember you only have one single 8-second shot. So you want to get to the best parts first. All right, let's see. Who should we start with? How about Shauna in Salem, Oregon?
So what my question is, Kim, is I probably like a lot of
Americans have investment accounts at various Vanguard, Fidelity, etc. And I want to combine and track them all in one location. And so I think I've narrowed it down to like using Empower, which is the former Personal Capital.
Yes.
But it makes me concerned I don't want their advice. I just want to, centralize everything together. But they want you to link, your account to each one of them. And I have antivirus, I have VPN, but I just don't feel comfortable clicking that link. And how secure is that, or how can you be secure doing that?
That's a really good question, because it does make you feel uncomfortable, doesn't it? It's like, I just gave them full access to all of my banking information. Was that a good idea? Like,
exactly.
Okay. And then you're like, then every vision of every hacker movie, and you see that guy in the hoodie, you're just waiting for you to say yes.
Yeah.
Empower's been around for a long time. As you've mentioned, it was formerly Personal Capital. It does have bank level encryption security practices. It's also a read-only service, so it cannot initiate any transactions, if that makes you feel any better. That said, it doesn't mean that, you just go willy-nilly with it, right? And so one of the things that I might recommend to you, if you are so inclined, is for you to buy a second computer, laptop, whatever it is. And you only use it for this particular application or any type of for financial applications. Because the reason why is that if you are on your main device and you just happen to fall for a phishing link because you had too many glasses of wine, or it looks really good, or whatever it may be, is that if there is the possibility of getting a piece of malware installed into your system, that if you are not doing any type of banking on that computer, they're not going to have too much to get from you, right? Because they won't have access to that. And
right.
So that's one of the things that we have set up here at the studios is anybody who does any type of financial transactions is that they have two boxes on their desk. When they want to check their email and, of course, check their Facebook or whatever it is, that they use one machine, and then the other machine is just used for financial transactions. But, you always want to, monitor your investments, anything linked into it. Anytime you link to a third-party service, and there's also maybe your financial advisor might have a program that they're using that they might recommend. I know that Morgan Stanley does. But you're right. I mean, I'm guilty of that too. We have, BlackRock. We have, like you said, Vanguard. We've got Fidelity.
Exactly.
And you're like, okay, I just wanted like one God's eye view of everything. That's it.
That is true. Well, and I've heard you say that about the two computers, and I also have my husband and I both have our own small business, and now you're making me think, I do everything on my main computer, but I also do go on the internet, and maybe you're right. Maybe that's just an extra security.
What kind of
bring one more computer in? But
what kind of business do you have?
Just small manufacturing company. We build tool boards for utilities.
So, how many employees do you have?
We only have 7, and mostly it's family. But my husband and I, and my husband's a bookkeeper by trade. We are the only people that do any financial anything.
Okay. Make sure that you have done a little bit of, because you're smart, I can tell. Make sure that you've done some cyber training with the 7 people. Because you are a prime target right now. Anybody less than 20 employees is a prime target for ransomware and getting hacked and denial of service attacks, because the whole idea is that you probably don't have a bona fide geek of the week that's on staff 24/7 watching everything that's going in and out of the network.
No.
And so it might be prudent for you just to, if there's somebody who knows somebody, just somebody do like an audit, a security audit of everything that you have. And then this might be a fun little exercise for you too, Shauna, is that there are companies out there that will do phishing tests. And so they send out a phishing email to everybody on your staff. Okay.
Okay.
And then you see who falls for it.
Oh, wow. That's a great idea.
And so that tells you where your weak link is. And but education is also part of, if you don't have cyber insurance. I'm not trying to sell you insurance because I hate all the insurance that I have to buy as a business owner. But it is a way for you to lower the cost of the cyber insurance if you can say that you're having at least yearly training and regular updates. We did a phishing test here with our team, and our IT guy came to me and he said, "I've got good news and I've got bad news." And I said, "What's the good news?" He said, "The good news is that everybody passed the test except for one person." And I said, "And who was that one person?" And he said, "Your husband." Like, oh my gosh. Okay.
That would be my husband, honestly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I know we're talking about Empower and we went on a tangent right now, but I just want to make sure that everything's all locked down too.
And just one more question on that. So where would a very, very small business, where would I even start to look for cyber training, cost effective? Do I just Google it? I mean,
no, you're going to do it online. You can have everybody take it online. And you know what? Let me write up, let me do a tip about this for the website. Okay. And do you get the newsletters?
I do.
Okay. So I'll put it over the next couple of weeks. I'll put it in the newsletters and on the site. Because I want to do some research. I know the company that we used is on one level, but that might be just too much for you. And then I know a bigger company that's for like, if you're like a Fortune 500 company, one of those type of things, which that's not where you're at. You're really looking at less than 20 employees. But it's really an important thing to keep in mind that, this is your business, this is your livelihood. And we just need to make sure that everything's all locked down because with phishing schemes and voice phishing and whatever, it's becoming a target where I know we have schools and hospitals and municipalities and cities and buses and everything. Planes getting hit by ransomware attacks not planes itself, I'm talking about airline companies getting hit by ransomware attacks, is that small businesses are now a total target. So we'll put that together for the website and in the newsletter. If you're not already getting that, you can sign up for the newsletter over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. All very, very good questions. I'll tell you, folks, if you have a small business, you really need to be paying attention to any type of ransomware attacks that's happening in your industry, and because it's just nasty out there. All right, let's switch gears just a little bit. Let's talk about the holidays. You're going to be doing some car trips, and gas is super expensive, and you don't want to be wasting all that gas and sitting in traffic. So if you're planning a road trip, here's a nifty trick to see what the traffic conditions will be like, whether you're driving days or even months from now. So here's the deal. Whether you're using Apple Maps or Google Maps, there's a super secret inside. Both will predict really accurately what traffic you're going to hit at a future date. So you might find that leaving earlier or later can shave a ton of time off driving and just sitting in your car. So here's how to use it. On Apple Maps, select your destination, then tap on Leave Now, and from there, you can select a date and the time that you want to leave by or arrive. Now, on Google Maps, search for directions, tap the three dots, and then pick the set depart or arrival time. So both Apple and Google Maps will show you how long the trip is going to take at that future date based on what traffic conditions are normally like at that time of day. It is so sweet. I use this all the time when I'm driving in between, say, Santa Barbara and Los Angeles or Phoenix and Tucson. Well, especially in California where the traffic's just crazy. Again, on Apple Maps, tap on Leave Now and then select your date and time. On Google Maps, you want to search for directions and then tap the three dots and pick set depart or arrival time. It's just an amazing little use of Google Maps and Apple Maps, I'll tell you. Have you ever wondered what happens to online orders that the U.S. Postal Service and Amazon, they just can't deliver? It often gets sold online at really, really cheap prices. So there are a few websites where you can bid on unclaimed packages. One website is govdeals.com, which the USPS contracts to auction undeliverable goods. Now, fortunately, you're not bidding on some mystery box with unknown content. You actually see a photo and a description of each item. Now, another website to check is liquidation.com. And the great thing about this site is that you can filter by brand or retailer. And this is kind of a fun thing. You can see packages and undelivered goods from Amazon, Target, Home Depot, even Walmart. Now, in the auction details, you get a brief description, the auction closing times, and the estimated retail value. So the downsides, yeah, there's always those. Some products that you are bidding on have been returned. Okay, obviously not in the most pristine condition. And once you buy something, that's it, baby. There's no way to return it. All right, those two sites again, govdeals.com and liquidation.com. Let's see, Tony in Richmond, Virginia. Glad to have you with us.
Kim, I have a real problem here. I've been a photographer, a commercial photographer for over 50 years, and moving into the digital world, I'm good at taking pictures. I'm good at working on them in Photoshop, but my digital filing cabinet is a total mess. I've accumulated 53 external hard drives that are all about, between 500 megs or 500 gigabytes and 8 terabytes each. And I just cannot keep up with all the files that I've got. And I'm hoping that you're going to give me some recommendations as to how to lighten my load in my life of the fear of a client calling me up and asking me for a picture I took 2 years ago.
Wow. This is a big problem, Tony. Okay. I'm not going to underestimate it. This isn't something where I can wave my digital goddess wand and go, poof, life is good once again for Tony. Okay. But we can try. Okay. So you have all these different drives, all these different clients, and nothing's organized. Is that what you're saying?
Just about.
Okay. Are you using Adobe Lightroom or anything like that?
No, I just buy 2 hard drives at a time and just keep dumping files into them as I do projects. Okay. So when they call me for an image, I've got to try to remember what the project was, what the date was, that kind of thing. And it's embarrassing, and I don't say much to my clients, but it does take me hours sometimes to go through hard drives.
All right, so what you're going to do is get something called a NAS. Don't worry about writing this down. We're going to send it all to you, okay?
Okay.
NAS is short for, because everything's always shortened inside the tech industry. You know that. Is network attached storage. And so basically what it is, I want you to think of like one box that is just full of a ton of hard drives, okay? And what you're going to do is get all the photos that you have on these 53 drives up to 8 terabytes, which is huge, a lot of data. And you're going to transfer all the contents onto this NAS drive. Okay. From there, we're going to put on some software that will help you organize and categorize. And so you can find a specific image. So if you know that it was Carolyn on the beach, then you can type in Carolyn Beach, and then Carolyn's photos will pop up, and you'll have them within seconds and not hours. Okay.
Oh boy, that'd be great.
You could also search for boats, New York City by location, Milan, wherever you have been. And so the whole idea is that we're going to put this tool right in front of you. Now, a NAS drive, I will tell you right now, it's not cheap. This isn't a $50 hard drive that you're going to buy and throw away. Okay. We're talking like probably 80 terabytes. Okay. Is probably going to run you about $3,000.
Okay.
So, and then you have to start thinking about redundancy. So you want to make sure that the NAS is configured for redundancy, because we don't want you to lose any data. And there may be some data that's super important to you that we always want to make sure that's backed up in the cloud as well. So it's a pretty big project. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just going to say you're going to have to approach this methodically, which sounds like this should be no problem for you. Because, I mean, if you can figure out how to find one image on 53 drives, more power to you, buddy. I mean, I'm proud of you for doing that, okay? I mean, because, like, let me tell you, this morning I was looking for my health insurance card, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So, I'm like, So you want to look at a Buffalo NAS drive. We'll send you a link to it. There's a cheaper alternative, but I don't know. I think I'd be more. The cheaper is, say, 40 terabytes. But I have a feeling that you're going to keep finding more drives as you go along. So I'd be inclined to just bite the bullet from the get-go and buy the $3,000 NAS, and then start working my way on how to configure this and how to get it done. You may need some help, some local help, somebody to kind of work with you to configure this, get the software on, at least do the first couple of drives to show you the procedure. And then after that, you'd be all good to go. So, Tony, thanks for your call. Hang on the line. Our lovely Amber is screening calls today, and she'll send you out some information via email that will at least get you started, and appreciate your call today. Okay, this is definitely a project that's not going to be fixed overnight. Wow. All right, so you leave your phone charging and you wake up because, oh my gosh, what happened? What time it is? Your alarm didn't go off because your phone lost its charge. Actually happened to me this past week, only there was no cord nearby. But anyway, we're talking about cords. And I know sometimes I talk about cords and I'm like, okay, there was a fire because somebody used a cheap cord. And you're like, oh gosh, Kim, you're being so dramatic. All right, it happened to a girl who went to bed with her iPhone right next to her. She woke up to flames. She was severely burned. Cheap knockoff accessories were to blame. And I know that we all want a deal. Well, the fine folks over at Consumer Reports dug deep in to find answers. Are the more expensive cables worth it? They purchased 7 charging cables priced anywhere from $4.88 to $29. And they did all these tests. The rapid response team, they did the bend test, the twist test. And here's what they found. Every cable they tried, the twist test was okay. The bend test is where things got interesting. The Apple Lightning cable, $29, survived over 11,000 bends. That's when they stopped bending these things. The Amazon Basics cable, $8.54, held up just as long. The Bytech, the Walmart cables, they just died. So the takeaway here, either buy official chargers, say from Apple or Samsung, or you can buy the cheap ones from Amazon. Again, they're called Amazon Basics is the label. All right, Roger in Tempe, Arizona.
I think I called in a few years ago, and I always enjoy listening to your program. I always feel just a little bit smarter after listening to your show.
That's awesome. That's my goal, you know. Definitely don't want you to feel dumbed down by listening, let me tell you.
Anyways, I have a monthly subscription to Adobe Premiere. I have a monthly subscription. I have a background as an Army video broadcaster.
Oh, wow.
Editing software, it's come a long way from when I was doing this as an Army broadcaster in Iraq about 15 years ago.
Oh, my gosh. It has totally changed in 15 years. Oh, my gosh.
I mean,
it has.
We were using Adobe Premiere at the time. I've continued to use it into the private sector as an educator and a sports videographer. However, it has that required subscription that I can't get around. So any suggestions going forward so I can still access my Adobe Premiere files, have really good editing software? You know, in other words, is there a better free editing software out there, or do I just need to continue paying the Adobe subscription going forward?
You know, this is such a hard question. And here's the reason why. Is that Adobe is the Cadillac, the Mercedes, the Ferrari, the Lamborghini, whatever it is. And they do have this proprietary file format that other companies just like, And then Adobe's like, don't you be violating our trademark by accepting that file format. Are you kidding? You know? So if you are familiar with it and you're using it a lot and it's time is money and this is your business, I'm going to say stick with it. But if you want to try something else that is free, DaVinci Resolve. It's a program that's a lot like Premiere Pro. It does color correction, audio post-production, visual effects, all that other good stuff. Of course, you can't beat Avid Media Composer. The free version is okay, but you're probably not going to like it. Then in order to convert these Adobe Premiere Pro files, you can export it as an XML file. And then once you do that, that's probably what I would try. Is that export like, no, you know this. Don't export a 30-minute piece, you know, by any means.
But why not? I understand.
Well, you know, if you got a lot of time, you know, you should go for it. But if you want to go out anytime over the weekend, I would say probably not. So you take that Adobe Pro and then you take 30 seconds, 60, 90 seconds, whatever it is, and then export it as an XML file, and then try to import it into DaVinci Resolve. And see if that feels right for you. You know, see if it's, because some people, like, for example, my husband, try as I might, to get him to use Google Docs, I cannot pry his fingers off of Microsoft Word. It's the same program. It does everything. But we can now collaborate. So now you're not sending me a document, a legal document by email, and then I've got to edit it up and then send it back to you. And then you don't know which version it is. So then you call me, you get frustrated and ask me why I can help everybody in the world with their computer troubles except for you.
Right.
Because that's what happens.
Security issues and so forth.
Yes. But you know what? But so I've just resolved to the fact that the guy wants to use Microsoft Word because he knows it and he feels comfortable with it, And so that's what I'm thinking with you is that you've been using it now for what, 20 years, right?
15-ish.
Okay, 15-ish years. And if it's helping you with your business, with your career, like I said, time is money. You might just say, you know what, I'm just going to stick with it. But if you want to try something different, hey, I'm all for that. I'm an entrepreneur. Take a look at DaVinci Resolve. It's open source and it's free. DaVinci Resolve. They've done some really big movies on this, as a matter of fact. One of my most favorite movies is The King's Speech, and that was all done with DaVinci Resolve. So it's powerful software, truly, truly powerful software. And you may be able to just kind of pick it up in just a nanosecond, which sound like you're super smart, and maybe you can do that. But again, just, nosy around, and you can also look at Final Cut Pro or Avid Media Composer, but I think you're probably going to be best served with that DaVinci Resolve. And Roger, thanks for your call today. Okay, let's see. We can squeeze another caller in right here. Alan in Indianapolis.
Hey, I'm a father of 5 grown children, and they gave my wife and I one of these digital picture frames for a birthday once, and they would send their pictures, of the grandkids and stuff like that. But what we want to do, since my father passed away and somebody gave us some money, is we want to give them all a digital picture frame this year that has the ability to just send to one email and everybody gets everybody's pictures all at once. Is that possible?
Yeah, you're going to have to do some configurations, but what a great gift that is. Basically, you're going to purchase a frame for each of the family member, and then you create an account or accounts on the frames. You do that in probably an app, or you can do it on a website. And then what you do is you're going to create shared albums or groups. You can invite all the kids to join the group or the album by using their email addresses. And then once they're joined, every one of your children can upload photos to this shared space. Okay. One of the best photo frames out there is called the Aura Carver. That's AURA Carver. We'll send you out. When we put you on hold, we'll send you out a link to it. So don't worry about it. They're not very expensive. They're about $150 each. But it's the one that I've used with my family, and it's really wonderful. It's just really simple to use. It's easy. And especially around the holidays, it does make a really great gift because now everybody can share all their photos and everybody's like kind of all synced up. And what's nice, you can set it up as horizontally, vertically, whatever it may be. And it's a pretty good size frame. It's 10.1 inch. And again, it's called the Aura Carver, AURA Carver. Alan, hang on the line. Lovely Amber will send you out a link to that so you can take a look at it right now on Amazon, and appreciate you getting through today. God, what a great gift idea. All right, if you're ever wondering about whether an image that you see online is legit or not, you can always do a reverse image search using Google. But what if you're a photographer, artist, wants to know the instant someone uses your work and is violating your copyright? Okay. I always tell guys to upload pictures to Google's image search to see where else they're being used. And 10 times out of 10, that beautiful blonde from, Germany or Russia or wherever she may be, even in the United States, she's going to scam you. But if you're a photographer artist, you can certainly do that reverse Google image search, but you need something that's better. Here's where the site Pixie.com comes in. It's going to track up to 2,000 of your images and then alert you the very moment that someone uses one. And they're going to help with the takedown notices, too. Of course, they're going to charge a little bit. That's Pixsy, Pixsy. Hey, do me a solid. Tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show because knowledge is power.